Welcome to our special event webinar, Deep Dive Volume 5 technically, but it is a special event. We are interrupting our usual services to jump in and show you some absolutely fantastic new development that we're very excited to share with you. I'm going to start by saying thank you. Thank you for joining us, and also quick 2 reasons why we're running today's event. As most companies would be pretty aware, one of the great things about software platforms is they have the ability to upgrade and update, which means you're constantly getting a better version of the platform or solution you've bought. Unlike a car where you sort of buy the car and you have to wait for years until maybe you replace the car to get advantage to new technology and uses. Platforms such as Jobman are able to continuously produce and improve on their features and functionality, which means your platform is constantly getting better. One of the side effects to that is it's important for us to continually reach out and educate our clients or potential clients or future clients on these features so that you can get the best out of them for your business. And I know everyone's busy. You bring a platform in, a solution into your business, you set it up and you use it, and there's not always the time to come back and revisit new features and functionalities. But every time we can develop something that will save you time, improve your productivity, increase your processes, and in fold, improve your profitability, we think it's definitely important to be able to bring that information to and see if it's useful for your company. The second reason why we decided on today's webinar to interrupt our current series is because the functionality I'm going to show you today is groundbreaking. It is an absolutely massive upgrade to what is already an extremely intelligent quoting system. It's one of the best on the market that I've certainly seen. Very few platforms go to this level of detail to handle manufacturing, especially in a bespoke sense. And what we've developed has been years in the coming. And it really has put a lot of development time into this consideration, but it solves yet another massive consideration for a lot of businesses. And we definitely wanted to share that with you today and give you the opportunity to see it, but also see how easy it is to put together for your business so you can take advantage of it. So what is today's event? Today's event is designed to talk around our product quoting and the new improvements to that product quoting. For those of you who are familiar or current Jobman clients, you would be well across the benefits of our products, their ability to use parametric parts, controlling material schedules from style items, which has brought a phenomenal amount of benefit to a lot of companies for well over 15 years now, which is very exciting. The 2 new monster things that we want to dive in today, though, is for the first time ever, our system is one of the, I don't know of any other system that can do this, certainly not in our bracket of price range to return on investment, where you can control components by style items. And this is phenomenal. When you see what this does, you'll hopefully fully understand it for your business, and it's going to really change the game in the way in which you quote. And quoting is the foundational first bottleneck to every business. It's a strange concept. Almost every potential client or customer who rings me or rings the team will say, the problems I'm always trying to solve is work management, automation and known capacity. It's the top of mind reason why people go first looking for an ERP. It's the number one reason. There's lots of other reasons, but that's probably the predominant one. And what's interesting is when we have the opportunity to show them our quoting system and how then that automation flows into their job management. So for the first time ever, their job management doesn't just become automated, it becomes scalable, and known capacity is able to be put through the system. So you know where you're up to at all times. People suddenly realize the power and importance of that first step. Not just that, but so many companies we talk to, quoting is such a huge part of the initial process. And if you think about it, if you're getting in just say 10 leads a week and it's taking you 4 to 5 hours to quote, you're only getting through a handful a day, which means over the course of the week, there's only so much you can do. And that's assuming that person in your organization, that's all they have to do. And obviously, the more quotes you put out there, the more opportunity you have to win more work, which gives you the potential to expand and scale your business. So if we can reduce that quoting time for companies but still provide accurate, profit-driven quoting. One of the first big benefits of the software straight off the bat is we're going to buy you back time. We're going to start putting money straight back in your pocket. And I think that when people see that, it really blows them away. So I wanted to take this opportunity to really go through this in a bit of detail. And there's a couple of extra little surprises in there along the way, one of which is our new quote summary report. I know this has been highly requested by a lot of companies. It's actually gone to a little bit to the next level from what our previous quote summary report designs were. Very powerful, very useful. And that final layer of authenticity in your quoting process. So not only now do you know before you even send a quote what your profitability looks like, but now you can even check the numbers. And I think that confidence, not just to be able to use a system that will improve and speed up your quoting, which will in turn win you more business, but the ability to know those numbers are right before they even go out the door is absolutely phenomenal. So very exciting webinar. Let's dive in. Today, really, I didn't want to write out a long checklist. I just wanted to make sure that by the end of this webinar, you have a really good understanding of the full power and potential of our intelligent quoting system, the automation that will bring through to you, but also how you can take advantage of the core setup from our seeding sites to get quoting quickly. One of the most common things I get at the end of a demonstration or an end of a conversation with people is they're wowed by our demo sites and like, oh, that's amazing. But you must have spent so much time putting that together. So one of the things I'm really excited to show you today is I have literally signed up for a brand new seeding site in Jobman. And all I've spent on that site is 45 minutes. That's it. I've connected up to Xero, so I'm connected up to my accounting, so my contacts pull through. I've tweaked some workflows, just changed some names of some operations to make sense for what I want to show you today. Built some agenda screens, filled out my capacity, connected up to my cloud file, connected to my my chosen CAD/CAM, which is Mosaic just for this particular instance, but we certainly support a lot of others. And that's what I'm going to present you today. So you can see out of the box that you can really take advantage of this phenomenal system without having to spend months or years of your life getting it up to date. Obviously, the more you put into a system, the more you'll get out of it. But what we really want to show is that you can start kicking some goals really early. And that is one of the very few things that I've seen that no one else in the market does well. ERPs tend to be such a big investment of time before you can get that return. To be able to come into a platform, sign up, take advantage of our seeding sites based on your industry, have some workflows, some products, some quote pricing, and do what we're going to do today together very quickly for your business is unheard of. So very exciting. Let's jump in. So what are intelligent products? Intelligent products, in a nutshell, are the ability to create a group of items such as materials, labor, services, parts, wrap them into a common denominator and use them quickly and easily for quoting. Now, the strength of Jobman's products is twofold. One, the parts inside are built intelligently with parametrics. So what that means is you can stretch the products, and as you stretch the products, the pricing will increase. This is fantastic because it means with a very small product range, you can then control virtually an infinite number of sizes based on that product. And a product can be anything. While we're going to focus today on cabinet making terms, so kitchens, bathrooms, base one door cabinets, upper cabinets, because it's a good, very high detailed level use of the software, so it really showcases what it can do. But also, even if you're not in that industry, everyone is pretty comfortable with the idea of what a base one door cabinet is. Everyone has a kitchen, you can see it. So with the ability to make products that stretch, you can simply have a small product library that has virtually an infinite number of pricing possibilities. So that's part one. But that concept can be utilized in virtually any bespoke manufacturing industry, and we have many of them, from boat builders to steel industries to gate building to donga building, small house building. The uses of the concept of a product are virtually infinite. And once you see what they can do, it will make a lot of sense for your business. The second part to that is that we can control the pricing of those products then using what we call material schedules. So rather than have to be limited directly just to say, I build this product and it's made of these things and it can stretch, but I would then have to copy and paste it 27 times or 2,700 times based on the material options. Instead of doing that, we have the ability in our system for you to build what's called styles. Think of them like schedules. So if I change the style on that product, the parts change based on the pricing of that material. And in that way, you can utilize what we call quote pricing to really build fast, efficient quotes, but most importantly, fast and efficient setup and control. Rather than have to worry about a catalog of 40,000 items and their material price changes, you can manage that with just 32 items to 40 items, and you'll basically be able to quote on an infinite number of product variations. And that's why Jobman is so good for the bespoke market. We achieve this through the use of components and parts. Now, parts make sense for a lot of companies. You would understand what a part of a product is. It's where it could be a labor operation, a material, a service, a proportionate item. All of these are examples of parts, but Jobman takes it one step further by giving you control of parts via what's called components. Components is basically the ability to build one part and then tell Jobman that part is relevant to all of this particular product type. So for example, you think of a fridge, it's a pretty simplified example, but a fridge has a door. And I can say the parametric of that door is, if it's a full size fridge with one door, it is 100% of the product width by 100% of the product depth. I can build that as a component so that every time I build a product and I call it one door fridge, or I call that product type single door fridge, Jobman will automatically put that part into every one of those fridges. And then if I need to create other product types and copy them in for, such as, a two-door fridge, I can modify those components very easily inside the product. So the advantage of that is obviously fast setup, but also fast reconfiguration. In the future, if your industry changes and people stop buying one-door fridges and the rage is two-door fridges, it's very easy to go in and modify that component, make it a 50% of product length by 100% of product width times 2, and now it's two-door, and that will automatically apply to all the products you've built. Phenomenal. You can use components for labor, materials, services, and parts, like stretchable, scalable parts in your products. So it's easy to set up, easy to maintain. The third part to that is the style items, the ability to control the pricing of those materials within those products. And let's be honest, bespoke quoting covers 95% of the SME manufacturing market worldwide. 95% of manufacturers sit in the bespoke market. Only 5% sit in what's called the automated manufacturing process market. So this concept here can be used in not just so many industries, but virtually by the majority of manufacturers worldwide, which is why we can really say this is as intelligent as you are for a quoting system. So style items can be utilized to change the parts, the way those prices interact. For example, we'll use a door on a base one door cabinet. In your kitchen, I can have some options. It can be a plain board. It can be a hardwood timber. It can be a high gloss veneer. It can be 2-pack painted. And simply by having those range pricing in the system, I can jump between them easily using the drop down in Jobman, and that will affect all the products. And that can be controlled at a quote level, an item level, or right down to a product level inside a quote. So maximum efficiency, maximum flexibility. On top of that, we really want to help our industries take advantage of product price quoting by utilizing what we call some CAD imports. And we support quite a few major CAD companies currently, and there are more always coming to our list. Cabinet Vision, Microvalor, Mosaic, Cubmaster are just an example of where, if your part of your process is to design first and then quote, we can take advantage of the time that you've spent drawing those kitchens or those cabinets or those products by being able to bring those directly into a quote. We have the product libraries matching, so you can match up those product libraries. We can read the product name. We can read the sizing of the product itself and the quantities, which means in moments, and I have done this demonstration in the past where I have taken a mosaic drawing of a house that has 5 rooms in it, all fully laden with cabinets, upper, lower, corner, bench, base, bench tops, all fully kitted out. Someone spent the time building that design to sell that, your concept, your business to a client, and literally we were able to put together a quote in about a minute and a half, and it was a $180,000 quote, simply by being able to bring in those products, modify the styles, and you're off. Add in any extra inclusions that your CAD obviously isn't designed to handle, like cutlery trays and material extras and that sort of stuff. Minute and a half. Absolutely phenomenal. So this is not just a concept limited to having to use this idea in Jobman. We can reach out to other companies and take advantage of that as well. Although one of the best benefits of the platform is once this is set up for you, we can remove that need for intense designing, because you can produce the equivalent sort of quote using our product library in a system really fast, and then present that to clients, which means you're winning more work and moving forward from there. So on top of that, we take another layer again. We also have quote presets. So once you've built your products and you have your style items sitting in the system, and you have other materials and labor and services that you like to include as part of your quoting platform, you can now build presets into the system, so it becomes even faster again. Start a quote, add a preset, or have your most common products in there, and you literally, it's like an Excel spreadsheet, you're filling it out with quantities, choosing the styles, bang, and then adding any extra little bespoke differences for that particular quote. Two things that will solve for your company. Number one, it's going to massively speed up your quoting process. And number two, it's also going to allow companies where you have quoting teams to not worry so much about the quotes your teams are producing. Rather than them sort of have a bit of an open gander as to what they can produce, you know that they're going to come in with presets set up with your margins, your overhead, your wastage, your profit set in, based on the items you want to sell and push, and they can bring those presets in and very quickly fill them out for a client, virtually live seamlessly with them in a conversation, and then add in the extras, and you know that every quote your team produces will be identical, because those things have been preset, predefined, and are ready to go, and it's just the variances, so you don't have to worry about them fudging numbers or changing pricing or accidentally deleting formulas in an Excel spreadsheet that suddenly stuffs everybody's quoting system for your entire company. It's all there, ready to manage, and easy for them to use. Which brings us into one of our new massive upgrades to the software, which is the quote summary report. So having advantage of all this technology and this phenomenal improvement to your quoting process is great. But one of the most common things I certainly know any company I speak to want to know then at the end of that process is, before I've even started the job, in fact, before I've even sent this quote out to our clients, we want to make sure that the numbers make sense. I want to see the totals of the labor operations versus this quote. Excuse me. I want to see the material breakdowns, and it's not shown here, but you can also see the service breakdowns. So it's operations, materials, material schedules, and services all at your fingertips, and it runs instantly. I've run this quote on a $3.8 million quote I put together with a lot of sections, a lot of items, a lot of products, a lot of elements, I think it was about 22,000 elements in that quote, and it ran in 2 seconds to bring up these report numbers. So this is the confidence you can now take with our system, because I understand, coming from external systems into Jobman, you've been quoting for a long time. You know what you're doing. It's your business. You know what I mean? You know how to quote. So being able to take that information from other places where you may have used previously, whether it be Excel, or a lot of people quote in their CAD softwares, or they have very basic quoting via accounting platforms because they just haven't had the opportunity to see a system such as Jobman. We want to make sure that you're confident with those numbers. You can see those profit margins, overhead, wastage, in a live sense, and the total numbers, so that you can look at that quote and say, hey, that doesn't look quite right. And you've got an opportunity to modify it before it even goes out. But even better, you can run this in a historic sense as well. So it's live on the quote now. So when you open your quote, you can pull up this report, or you can utilize it to go back and run some quote summary reporting on previous quotes that have been done. So it's sort of like an extra layer lead management quote to get some really good ideas of the profit and services and expectations coming from your sales team, which is absolutely phenomenal. Ultimately, an ERP is designed to provide you with data. Data is the new gold, and that's what we're here to do. So wherever possible, we're always looking to improve our reporting and give you more options to be able to report in the system to give you the data you need. It gets better. Our system is not just intelligent and smart, but it's also designed to be client focused. So built into the system, we have HTML templating. We have built a number of really beautiful templates for you. They will pull from existing information in the system using what's called template variables. So your logo is going to pull through. You can pull in quote names, contact persons, numbers, all that sort of stuff. You can really change and modify these quite easily to really suit your business. And we've built several of them because one of the advantages of the system is you can utilize our quote templating to quickly flick between different templates, depending on the type of client you want to send out to. This might be too complicated a quote example here. You would not normally send this much information to most of your clients. You just have a summary report of the kitchen and the inclusions, for example, and a price. We have some basic templating there for you. This is an example of a highly detailed quote where we both break down the units, the products, the materials, the services, and the individual prices within those items. Plenty of options at your fingertips to be able to achieve this. And we put a lot in the software so that you've got a lot of options there, which means you do not have to be a HTML expert to be able to take advantage of our templates, although we do and can give you access to some phenomenal coding services, third-party services, such as Empire Blueprint, which have a phenomenal access to some really intelligent programs there that can help you make really beautiful templates in the system. Not just for quoting, we have a lot of templates for the system for invoicing, target calendars, item specs, forms. There's so many templates in our system that, you know, it's worth sometimes reaching out to a professional company and making these beautiful templates because you'll use them forever. So that small investment upfront really can help absolutely make sure that your client-facing information looks very professional. And you're already going to be quoting faster and reaching out faster. Let's give you some automations around making it look good as well. On top of that, we do have accept, comment, and decline built into our email quotes now. It's a live link. So we're not just improving the process to get quotes out to clients. We're not just making it look good. We're also giving you a round of information to come back instantaneously into the system and notify the lead or quote handler, salesperson, so to speak, that your quotes are either being accepted or, you know, the client has come back and said, actually, can I change this and can you re-quote? It's going to massively speed up and improve your follow-up and get more of your quotes winning faster. So the piece de la resistance, the most exciting thing and the main driving reason that I wanted to do today's webinar is style item control parts. We've been showcasing this system and helping Australia, New Zealand and manufacturers around the world for 15 plus years now with our quoting system and the automation that then brings into the job management. And the product drive and the styles and the parametrics make so much sense for so many companies and has just done absolute wonders in return on investment for so many businesses for so many years. But one of the most common questions we always used to get was, can I control particular components to come into my products based on the style I choose? The most common example of which would be labor. So think to your product ranges and you're sitting there and you built your products and let's say you have a process in your product, which could be painting. Now, painting could be spray coating, it could be physically painting, it could be powder coating, depending on your industry and what you manufacture. But it's not always relevant to every product. Not every process relies on that being done. However, you sell a service and a range as part of your business where that is a possibility. And you want to be able to add that in. Now, traditionally, the system has been able to handle this in a semi-intelligent way, in that you can add all your product labor possibilities to your products and then bring them into a quote, and then you can utilize our intelligent functionality to remove labor based on the type of quote. Now, this has served a great purpose for a lot of companies for many years and has been phenomenal, but we always push ourselves here to see if we can take it even further. And one of the things that we've got from feedback back from clients around that area is if someone accidentally forgets to remove those operations, they're inadvertently increasing the price of the quote unintentionally, just simply because it can be a lot depending on your processes, how many different operations you have linked into those products. So it can be a little bit time consuming to make sure that you go through and remove the right amount of product labor. And this can commonly be used in several areas. It can be used to cover things that are not necessary for every process, but also for differing manufacturing processes. For example, flat pack versus fully installed. If you make cabinets and then dispatch them and install them versus simply manufacturing them, cutting them, edging them, and wrapping them up and dispatching them. So the system was designed to absolutely remove those product labor operations, reduce the price of the quote, and make more sense for the automation coming to the job management. But it didn't quite take it far enough. This now is the ability for you to link particular components directly to choices made at the style level. So rather than have to remove labor operations, you can come in and you can say, all right, assuming that this particular product is manufactured, it will require a process where we paint or route or edge or, spray paint or powder coat. I can link that to those particular style items. And when I choose those style items in the quote, it will add that product labor into all the products, which is phenomenal. Now, when I first saw this concept, I was absolutely blown away. I understood immediately the impact result that this solution could provide to so many businesses. It's a real game changer. Our development team doesn't just believe in making game changers. They absolutely want to push everything to the next level. And what they've done is they have not limited this functionality to labor. That means that you can bring in a component into your products that can be a labor operation, a particular material, a proportionate item, or even a service. And by choosing those style items, those parts will populate on those products in your quote. The use case for this is virtually infinite. It essentially has made the system a fully bespoke, customizable quoting platform based on the infinite of your imagination, or your client's imagination, which is phenomenal. Some of the use cases I've seen already in our live testing and discussions with clients are things such as the ability to add a service part in, which has a chargeable default labor rate, because the quote summary can pick up the number of products that service is attached to. You can now tell the number of products in your quote that would be anything to handle, for example, the American piece rate market, where you come in and you pay your installers based on piece rate, number of products installed. On top of that, you're also seeing the installation time, seeing the best of both worlds. You can utilize this to employ extra servicing based on the length of the actual, like a proportionate service or material based on the actual item. So as it gets longer now, you can come in and you can say, well, I'm going to need to bring more people in to handle this, for example, in shed building, where if once a material gets past a certain point, you need more people actually involved in that process. But even just at a base level of being able to say things like operations like routing or painting can be brought in to your products based on the style items you've chosen is absolutely next level. And this is something I have never seen. There's some big beast ERPs out there. And, very, very few of them would have even considered this capability of intelligence within their product quoting system, because the system itself is already so intelligent. To add this extra layer of finite control is absolutely incredible. So that's why we wanted to jump on today, and we wanted to let all our clients know, and potential clients and future clients, if you've been thinking about this solution for you, and one of your hesitations has been, hey, I can see the benefit of your quoting system, Jobman, I can see how intelligent it is, but is it going to cover, the 100%, covers the 90 to 95%? Absolutely. That massive improvement is a huge return on investment for our business. But can we take care of that 5% of those absolute finer grain detail differences? And I'll never forget, recently, a consultant said to me that the manufacturing world lives in the 20%. especially in the bespoke industry. You know, covering the 80% is phenomenal. Getting that automation, that's a return on investment. That's the money we're going to put back in your pocket. But if you can dive into the 20% and really benefit companies there, that's the money. And that's what's going to make real impact to people's lives on a day-to-day sense. So this is absolutely phenomenal. And the honest truth is, I probably haven't even thought of yet half of the, the use cases for this ability in the software. So what I want to do today is I want to jump into the software and I want to give you an example use case. So we've got a recording for people so you can actually see it and use it. And then where you take this from here is absolutely up to your business. But we know without a doubt that this is going to change the game. And the reason why this is so important, as I said right back at the beginning, is because our aim is to, at a very base level, give you back your time. And in order to do that, you need a system smart enough that can take advantage of the intelligence of automation. And that really is what Jobman is all about. And Jobman is taking your lead, your quote, into a job and being able to pull through these labor operations that are completely now flexible and modifiable based on the size of the job, the different products used, the schedules that have been happened inside that quote, and then put that time into the job management workflows for you so that when you're scheduling your jobs and you're taking advantage of our Intuit capacity, you have an absolute 100% understanding of what your business looks like right now and what its future is. You can see in snapshots based on operational centers and multiple operational centers if you want to, where you're capping out, where you've got space, where you can take on more business and what you can do. But it's real. These are real numbers. These are not just guesstimates and thought processes and Excel spreadsheets that are trying to formulate. There are some companies I've spoken to that spend hours trying to micromanage up their scheduling based on unknown numbers, and that you can create formulas for it. But someone spends 40 hours a week working that out. Whereas Jobman now, that process flow will automate through. It will manage your software for you. It will help manage your business. It will free up that time, and it's just going to deliver over and over and over again money back in your pocket, which is what it's all about. That's why you come to a platform like us, and it's very, very exciting to see that. So I think we absolutely should quickly jump in and have a bit of a look. And I want to give you some use case examples here so that you can take advantage of this process for your business and maybe look at how you've currently built your product structures and where they can now be improved. And like I said, I am extra excited at the fact that today I get to show you a clean site. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity to be able to really present the software in a very unencumbered way. You don't have to be bedazzled by the amount of work and time we've spent setting up our demonstration sites to showcase the best of the software. This is me coming in now. Yeah, fair enough. I kind of know what I'm doing, but I am in no way, shape, or form a tech expert. And before I started this job, I could turn on a computer, and that was about it. And even with just utilizing the documentation and the videos and the webinars we built to now, in 45 minutes, I was able to take this, like I said, connect up to my accounting, connect up to my cloud file. My contacts have pulled through. I built a couple of agenda screens just to make sense so I could visualize my manufacturing process as I was doing it. All this took minutes. I double check the workflows. The great thing about our seeded sites is they start with workflows. There's operations in the system. We're there to get you started. And rather than have to start from scratch or even delete everything and sort of play around, you can utilize what we have and simply modify and edit the names. And that's what I've done in a couple of instances where I've just changed the name to make more sense to what I want to present for this company. And it took minutes. And I've already bought back hours of this company's potential life just by putting this together very quickly. But it also means I can showcase what we're going to talk about today without you thinking that I've spent thousands of hours setting up products and working out style. It's in there. Signed up, chose cabinet making as the industry, and upon sign up, it immediately meant I had 33 quote pricing options built in the system. Yes, they're not necessarily your company pricing right now, but it's very easy to tweak and modify than it is to add. You can change this pricing to suit your business very quickly. Inside, there's 73 products ready for me to go to take advantage of. There's already 17 components, making all the smarts in this work. All of those are already linked to operational centers. so that you can come in and do what I want to show you today, virtually out of the box. And that's really exciting. That's what I really wanted to show you. So let's do it. You've got some products. You've got our product library. You can see the smarts inside those products. You can see that there's labor operations and parts already built. You can see there's some quote pricing options in here. And now you want to take advantage of this next level. I'm going to use a very straightforward example because I want it to be nice and comfortable and clear and easy so that you can take that concept and then utilize it to whatever best benefits your business. So what I've done, very first thing is I've gone in, I've grabbed one of my quote pricing options and I've updated it, the name and the price to represent the fact that I'm going to build an option to build profile routed doors. Now, for those who don't know what that is, think about a kitchen door. You've probably seen plenty of kitchens in offices and workplaces in your home. And quite often, it's a door will simply be at the front of the cabinet. It's got a handle on it. It's got some hinges, or it might have finger pull, but it can be a plain board or a grain board or a high two-pack painted board. But commonly, people want to go to the next level. So they would order doors from me, which have what's called a routed surface, like an inset profile. And it can be a pattern. It might be an edge, it might be a border. Very common in the world. A lot of you've seen it everywhere. As soon as you might Google search it after this, you're like, I know exactly what he's talking about if you're not in this industry. But absolutely very common item. So I want to put that together. I want to take advantage of Jobman's new component services. So all I've done is I've created and updated one of my quote pricing options. So I've got a price ready to go based on that opportunity. Now, keep in mind, I don't have to allow for the labor, because what I'm about to show you is the ability to add that labor as an operation into those products based on that style. So all I've allowed for is the materials so far with my standardized markups based on the most common option that I would use in this area. The second part to the setup, nice and easy. I just want to go in and I want to build those operations that I want to add in. And like I said, you could utilize this to add in services, materials, schedules, so many options for what we can use this component for. But in today's example, we're going to follow through and we're going to add in a component based on an operation because it's one of the most common use cases I can think of for this feature. So I've got my operations. I've put them in a nice order of operations here, so it makes sense for my development process. Sorry, my manufacturing process. When I'm following through, it makes just a bit of ease when I'm looking at lists that everything's in order. And that's one of the great things about the software is you can sort your operations so that you can see what's happening. But we're going to create a new operation and we're going to call that operation external routing, which is basically just the ability for a CNC machine to cut a profile into a door. And I'm going to link to a labor center, which I have already pre-built called machining. You don't have to do this. You can simply build this operation and then decide by going into your labor centers where it makes sense, and that will automatically link these two operations. So nice and easy setup, just into settings, jobs, operations. I'm going to whack in this external routing. I don't need to provide a price to the system. I have an overhead labor rate built into the system. If you haven't seen how to handle our pricing, please check out the docs, or we have some really good previous webinars around this information. But if I wanted to, I could in fact increase the amount that I charge just for this particular service, because it is a bit of an extra service that will come in and will sort of delay the manufacturing process a bit. So if I wanted to, I could change the cost here. I'm not going to. I'm simply going to put it in. And right now, my cutting services are colored blue. That's just for my target calendar. So I've got really good visibility around where my production steps are up to. So that was nice and easy. I've got a quote pricing catalog option now. I've got the operation ready to go. The last part to get this off and running now is to link it into my product components. So going into the catalog again, where you see those materials and services, and keep in mind, this is all out of the box. All I've done is modify a few things here. I'm going to come into my product section. You can see my products here. I have product types. All of this came standard with signing up as a cabinet maker. Honestly, even if you aren't a cabinet maker, I recommend a lot of people choose this as their seeded site. It comes with the most amount of data in it, which gives you the most opportunity to really make some custom changes. If you're in a completely different industry, absolutely choose one of the other generic manufacturing seeds, and we put examples of these products in there for you and some quote pricing options. So you're not just starting with a clean site. You've got some information to work with and copy from. So now what I want to do is I want to create a component. I want to bring this component in when that particular style is chosen. And this component is relevant to doors. because it's generally a profile that is done on doors. So I'm going to create the component, and you can see here, there are many options to which I can create. In this instance, I want to utilize and take advantage of the labor. Using my operations, I can come down here and I will now be able to choose the operation that I want to add into this system, which is the external routing. I didn't have to scroll through there. I could have absolutely just typed that in and it would have brought it up, but I just wanted to show you the information it pulls through so you can see your lists and see just the variance of options you can use this for. Now, in this particular instance, we're going to say each profile will take roughly 3 minutes. It is a process, but it's not a massively constrained process, but it depends on the complexity of the design chosen by the client. So obviously, the more products I have and the more complexity, I can add more time into my product management. Now, the first part is to say, do I want this component to apply simply to all my products? And no, I don't. I actually want the ability, and Jobman gives you the flexibility to say, I only want to make it apparent to certain products. For example, all base cabinets absolutely have doors. Absolutely could have the opportunity to use this routing service. So I'm going to apply it to base cabinets. Doors, you can do this profile edging on drawer cabinets, get those beautiful pullouts with the profiled edges, tall cabinets and upper cabinets. Just by doing that now, and this is just happens to showcase and highlight the benefit of components as well. Just by creating this component, it's going to put this into all of those products for me. So rather than have to go through my product list, and over time your product list will grow. It might start at 70, might end up at 100. About 100 products will cover about 3.2 million variations of quoting, which is pretty impressive. But excuse me, you may want to change them, and this is the way to do it. Use components. You can add that part in without having to go through all 100 products and make those changes. And then this is the new fantastic feature, restrictor style options. So in this instance, I only want this particular option to come in when I choose to pack shaker doors with routing. Now, the beauty of this is you can choose multiple style items. So if the particular operation you're bringing in makes sense across a different number of ranges you sell, you can absolutely utilize this to bring that in against multiple styles, not just one. The benefit is there. But that is how easy that is to put together. So now you can see that the component has been added. There's a quantity of time that will pull through based on that labor. I have my costs built into the system already. I actually haven't updated any of this. This has just come out of the seeded site, just so you could see how easy and fast it was to get up and running. I can tell the aggregated cost of what one unit of this would be when added into a product. I can see the product types and I can see the restrictions. And of course, I can expand these fields if I need to see them. Now, in the background, because I've created that component, Jobman has automatically gone in and started filling out the back of all my products. Now, it's not an instantaneous process, but it is pretty quick. May take a few minutes just to get, depending on how many products you've got through everything. But you can see here already, it's started to pull that componentry into my products ready to go. That easy. You can utilize that, like I said, to add labor operations based on style options. You can add particular materials based on styles. You might sell a gate, for example, and depending on that type of gate product, you might have what's called a high range premium product that has an automated mechanism for opening and closing, which has a locking system. And that's an actual SKU. It's a material you buy, but not every gate will utilize it. Some premium gates, people want to do the old-fashioned manual way. They like the idea of the antique gating. So you can apply this material to that style item, and only when you choose that style item will that material and SKU now pull into the product, which will then improve the price and also flow through into your job management for your material sourcing. You see the automation? It's fantastic. Once you get into it, you start to see what this can do. It's amazing. The idea behind this component labor operation now is if I put together a quote and I choose this style item and it modifies the price of all my products, that's part one. But part two, it's also now going to add that operational time. So that operational time now can pull from the quote into the accepted job and put the relevant time. So at 3 minutes per door, if I have 50 products, and each of those products in my quote has a door, it's going to add the 50 times 3 minutes worth of operational time into my workflow management. All automated. All you did was set up two things, ready to go. So I think that's really exciting. Now, what I want to do to take that one step further is I want to just very quickly, and I'm only going to take 2 minutes because I definitely want to dive in and open up the floor to some questions. But for those of you, and there are plenty of companies on here that I am aware are not current Jobman clients, I want to give you the 17-second run through of now what we've achieved and what that can be brought into a quote, so you can see that process happen. Like I said, this is a dead set clean site. I've just got my contacts have pulled through from zero. There's some lead management and that ready to go in here, but I haven't done anything. I don't even have a lead I can show you to create a quote. So I want to create it together so you can see this benefit come through, take advantage. And obviously we've got plenty of webinars around the advantage of contact types, how to utilize and benefit from what we call items and their automation, using descriptive terminology to be able to see the different, I'm not spelling wrong this morning, different deep dive, volume 5, information, the ability to pull through street address from contacts. All of this you can see in other videos. That's not what I'm here today. What I wanted to do was show you very quickly how I can take that contact into a lead. I can see my task management ready to go, all out of the box. All out of the box. I've modified very little in the system. Like I said, 45 minutes is all I've spent getting this to running my company. And yes, I 100% understand this is not quite your process yet, but it's pretty close, and you can easily modify and rename and edit rather than have to build. So you can come in here out of the box and literally go, all right, let's see how the system works. Let's kick off a start date. Let's let Jobman work out my estimated dates for when these processes should be handled to make sure I'm keeping on top of my lead management. And look at that. Out of the box, I'm already getting those big wins, that management side for my business. And I can come in, the team can complete those tasks, keep moving things forward. And, we're not even an hour into the software yet, and we're already getting benefit to company. And then, of course, the big one is, okay, Cam, pull all that information together. And I want you to show me the brilliance of this power live so we can all see it and get it together. Component control by style item. I'm going to create this quote. I'm going to make it really simple just so you can see the information pull in. You know what's happening. It's all happening in front of your eyes. So I'm going to go into my item. I'm going to add in just one product, just so you can see the benefit, and then you'll be able to scale the idea from there. As I said, this is fully parametric. So I can change the sizing. If this was pulling through from CAD, that sizing would already be preset because the products are already drawn with your price, your sizing. However, you can come in once you've built these products or utilize the ones we have and modify it, and look at that. Immediately it's coming in, it's starting to price up, the information is happening. The great thing about Jobman is you've got that fourth layer. You can go inside and see the information. And here it is. Here's my component labor ready to go with no price. I haven't added it yet. I haven't said to the software, add this component, this labor, or this material, or this service to these products yet. It's just there waiting, not impacting my software in any way, shape, or form, just so we're ready to go, so that when I come in here and now I choose my custom style options and I go to my door and I choose that routing option, this is the style link, sorry. So this is where you can choose those ranges. You remember we were talking about drop downs, the ability to have a limited number of products that are virtually infinitely scalable based on size, based on material schedule, based on pull-in. And this is just that final layer where by choosing that now, the price is updated. And if I go back into that component, sorry, that product, I can now see time has been allocated based on that inclusion. All at the click of a button. Ready to go. I can see what my quote templating looks like out of the box, but a very simplified template setup at the moment, which just shows sections and items. If I was to come back into this item here, for example, and put in some nice standard conclusions. So I've got some information that I can present, and this can be copied and pasted in if you wish, or typed in based on what you're presenting. I can now send that. This will be visible both on the quote and also follow through to the invoice if you choose to take advantage of our accounting platform. And just like that, in minutes, I'm starting to utilize the software and quote using products. I can see the profitability of my quote before it's even gone out the door. And if I need to check those numbers, I can go straight to that quote summary. I can see these times and materials There we go. There's our new operation pulled through. There's our material breakdowns based on what we've chosen already. Had I had some services in the system, and before this quote has even gone out the door, I am 100% confident that Jobman is doing its job and absolutely improving our business processes.